So this is The Genius of the Crowd by Bukowski. There is enough treachery, hatred, violence, absurdity in the average human being to supply any given army on any given day. And the best at murder are those who preach against it, and the best at hate are those who preach love, and the best at war, finally, are those who preach peace.
Yes.
Those who preach God need God. Those who preach peace do not have peace. Those who preach peace do not have love. Beware the preachers, beware the knowers, beware those who are always reading books, beware those who either detest poverty or are proud of it. Beware those quick to praise, for they need praise in return. Beware those who are quick to censor, they are afraid of what they do not know. Beware those who seek constant crowds, for they are nothing alone. Beware the average man, the average woman. Beware their love. Their love is average, seeks average. But there is genius in their hatred. There is enough genius in their hatred to kill you, to kill anybody. Not wanting solitude, not understanding solitude, they will attempt to destroy anything that differs from their own. Not being able to create art, they will not understand art. They will consider their failure as creators only as a failure of the world. Not being able to love fully, they will believe your love incomplete, and then they will hate you. And their hatred will be perfect, like a shining diamond, like a knife, like a mountain, like a tiger, like hemlock. Their finest art.
Sounds like somebody needs a church fellowship.
Yeah, someone needs a life group.
Needs a life group.
You are listening to Two Friends, Two Poems, the podcast where friends read poems to each other just to see what happens. My name's Tom. This was my idea, and today I am joined by singer-songwriter Wes Cunningham, and Wes will share poetry by John Lennon and Carol Bieleck, while I am reading a Bukowski poem as well as one of my own. But first, Wes describes his experience writing lyrics, which some say are just poems set to music. Okay, here we go. It's interesting how you said that in the past you haven't given, or correct me if I'm wrong, it didn't sound like you wanted to give too much thought to the words. You kind of just wanted the words to appear.
Yeah, just to not stand out. Don't pull your attention to the words.
Oh, that's so interesting.
They're perfunctory. They were just perfunctory.
Yeah.
But then I do a song like Tin Man. The Tin Man lost his heart. The rains came, rusted all his parts. He couldn't move. He couldn't cry for help. The Tin Man couldn't save himself. A little ditty like that, kind of clever. But also that's the stuff that I really enjoy. The Tin Man once was real, a true man, not a man of steel. He was adored, but let's see, I can't remember without the music, but it wasn't enough. The Tin Man had to earn his, and the word is love, but that's replaced by something. Anyway, so I like to get clever, but also try to keep it to the heart.
Yeah.
I don't know to it, Tom. We're talking about art.
Well, and I have had we're talking about art. I have had the feeling like, it was something I mentioned to my buddy Paul, who couldn't be with us today. He says hello.
He's a dick.
Yeah, man. Like,
I couldn't be.
Like, priorities, Paul. I've got a meeting at work. Good Lord.
I'm out of work. I'm about to make money.
But
I'm a fan because I've seen a couple of the podcasts and they're great. I love it.
Oh, thanks, man.
You guys have done,
yeah, we're having fun.
Yeah.
I don't even.
All right, cool. Is it my turn now?
It's your turn.
I've got a couple of options. I found one. So when I was growing up, I became a fan of John Lennon, of course, his music, but also he had a couple of poetry books called "A Spaniard in the Works" and "In His Own Right," and they were just his mind was just, you know, all firing on all synapses, and he would just write these absurdist poems like a la Lewis Carroll, you know, just, and
Yeah.
I for some reason I just, it totally resonated with me. And there's one that he wrote. I'm going to go off of your theme and do one a little darker, and then I got a lighter one at the end. But so this is one he wrote his best buddy way back in the day. Was a guy named Stuart Sutcliffe. If Beatles fans know this, he was a member of the band, and then he had this hemorrhage, his brain tumor, and he died. And it was another blow to Lennon's, you know, whatever. His mother died when he was young, so he had a lot of rage.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, this was a poem that he wrote and sent to his buddy Stu right before, I guess, presumably before he died. And it's this. I remember a time when everyone I loved hated me because I hated them. So what? So what? So fucking what? I remember a time when belly buttons were knee high, when only shitting was dirty and everything else clean and beautiful. I can't remember anything without sadness, so deep that it hardly becomes known to me, so deep that its tears, or that its tears, leave me a spectator of my own stupidity. And so I go rambling on with a hey, nani, nani, nan. That's it.
Oh, that is perfect.
It might have been when he may have done that. No, this was pre-fame. So this is just him dealing with this stuff. I mean, he's a teenager. Yeah. He's 18 or 19 at this point.
Yeah.
I just liked it. I liked it because it's so vulnerable.
Absolutely.
You know, and for a guy of that era, you're supposed to be this tough guy. And anyway.
Yeah, I love that you brought John Lennon. Of course you brought John Lennon. I love it.
I have other options.
No, I don't want to.
Can't move. Oh, here we go. Okay, this is a poem called "Breathing Underwater." Have you done this one yet?
No.
Have you heard of it?
Haven't.
By Carol Blaylock. That's all I got. I'm just gonna read the poem. I love the poem. It speaks to me. Here we go. I built my house by the sea. Not on the sands, mind you, not on the shifting sand. And I built it of rock, a strong house, by a strong sea. And we got well acquainted, the sea and I, good neighbors. Not that we spoke much. We met in silences, respectful, keeping our distance, but looking at our thoughts across the fence of sand. Always the fence of sand, our barrier, always the sand between. And then one day, and I still don't know how it happened, the sea came without warning, without welcome even, not sudden and swift, but a shifting across the sand like wine, less like the flow of water than the flow of blood, slow but coming, slow but flowing like an open wound. And I thought of flight, and I thought of drowning, and I thought of death. And while I thought, the sea crept higher till it reached my door, and I knew then there was neither flight, nor death, nor drowning. That when the sea comes calling, you stop being neighbors, well acquainted, friendly at a distance neighbors, and you give your house for a coral castle, and you learn to breathe underwater.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, then, and it's actually, I love how this happens. It's a perfect, I think it's a really nice poem to complement the poem that I wrote. So
okay.
Now I'm going to read you what I wrote.
I can't wait.
All right. So this is a poem called The Orphan Tree.
Mm-hmm.
How many people have owned you? The Kirkwood tree that greets me on the land between the homes, bringing to mind the redwoods and shires, swings of rope and wood and tires.
Hmm.
How many trucks have backed as close as possible to make room? Do you hear the beeps? How many insurance claims have mentioned you? How many actually hung a tire from your branch after saying, you know what would be fun? How many kids stood close, counting as giggles scattered amongst your family? How many storms have you weathered? How close was the lightning? Ready or not, here I come. The things you've seen, you Kirkwood tree, many I don't want to know. Owner after owner pretending you're theirs, unable to see you grow. Another for sale sign staked, another truck dispatched, another change of address, another egg goes hatch. And there you stand, waiting it out, as animals choose new rooms. Neither giver nor taker, you're just a tree. Our egos disapprove. So tree on, orphan tree, as you're bought and you're sold by animals that don't seem to care. Keep drinking in sunlight, keep rooting in dirt, keep belching that yummy air.
Belching that yummy air. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, beautiful.
We had a tree, we had a beach house, we had the sea.
Yes, we did. Do you know, yesterday we live in an ancient house, 1890 something, and this grown woman came by the house yesterday, and she said, "I grew up here, you know, and can I come in and walk around?" Of course, like, sure, you know, and but she found the same. We had a rope that was from when she was a kid, and I just couldn't bring myself to take it down on this old oak tree. So I'm saying it's the permanence of something like that versus all the what is a tree like that scene. I love it. Beautiful.
Yeah. This has been Two Friends, Two Poems, the podcast where friends read poems to each other just to see what happens. And a big thank you to Wes Cunningham for playing along today. You can hear Wes's music at wescunningham.bandcamp.com and read Tom's work at tomwardwrites.medium.com. Thanks for listening. Now go write a poem.